Hi, Internet. My name is Todd. I'm going to be the DM for our Dungeons and Dragons game. I'm super excited. I hope you're excited. Let's get some more funky music. This is Kai Angle. Great music. But let's get some pump up music because I want to get pumped for this game because I've been jonesing. Just jonesing to play. Let's get some other people on here with me, though. So, I think this button does things. Oh, it did things. So, we've got some people. Let's meet them and say hello. All right, you guys are live. Welcome to the stream. Are you there?
Hello. Hello.
It feels like we've been gone a long time.
We have been. It's been an age. Although, first of all, I want to say thank you to Gordon and Carl and everybody else involved in our last campaign. It was a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and it was an epic thing. It was like 56 episodes. If you want to see season 1, you should go check that out. I've also been really fortunate to play with all you guys for some shadow runs, and we're gonna still do some of that. But tonight's actually all about what is going on here? All about the Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna jump back into that for a little bit. So I'm excited to play again. So let's go around the horn and meet everybody. So how about you, Gord?
Hey, Gordon, longtime player. In this new campaign that we're rolling out, I'm playing a human rogue. His name is Rook, and he's got just an interesting backstory when it comes to how he grew up and the current predicament that he's in.
Awesome.
We'll get to that pretty shortly.
I'm so excited to kind of tease that out. Of course, I have a little bit of a heads up, but I'm excited to roll that out and see where it goes. That's half the fun. All right. And then of course, actually, before we move on, Gordon, you also have something else that we need to shout to the heavens about. So why don't you?
Yeah. Once in a while, we shout out Gordon's game is coming out. Gordon's game's coming out. Lost Ones, and it's out. Kickstarter backers have been getting them. I think most of them have gotten them by now across Europe, North America, and Asia. So it's out there. And then eventually it'll be released more fully with retailers.
Yeah, that is amazing. So congratulations on that. And I've already paid in for the box, so I'm waiting for it to arrive. And I'm eager to play. It sounds like a really fun game, and I got a sneak teaser for some of the stories, and it looks like a lot of fun. So do let us know when it's widely available so the interwebs can go and get it themselves.
Will do.
All right, awesome. Now, you may know him from various Shadowruns, but he is joining the classic Dungeons & Dragons world with us tonight, and that is Steve.
Hey, it's been a while since I've played some D&D. Thought I'd jump in on that. Bringing Gex Techford, who is a Goliath rogue. I'm not sure what kind of personality he's going to have yet, but he's essentially a cat burglar giant. That was the idea. So we'll see what comes of that.
Well,
hopefully some interesting things.
I was actually just reminded the other day of the Shadowrun we did, where you're playing this massive Sasquatch and moving super stealthy, and you guys I think it was the two of you actually, Kiamar and.
Oh yeah, I was playing Kiamar.
Yeah,
Sneaky.
and super stealthy, grabbed a dude. It was what was the name of that episode? I think it was good Greg hunting. That was it in Shadowrun. It was our most recent Shadowrun actually. And so if you like Shadowrun, you like Dungeons and Dragons, you like Cyberpunk, go check that out too. And always a good time.
The one before that.
And also,
I'm just looking forward to Gex try and pick a lock. Just picturing that in my mind.
I just
tiny
It's a
lock
very
picks that.
good thing.
I don't know.
It would be like Andre the Giant, retires from wrestling to become a watchmaker.
Hunched over on a bench, just working on the watch. I can picture it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the idea.
Awesome. And also, while we're on a slight pause, I want to shout back out to Darcy, who is eventually going to join us, but can't join us today. So at least I think. So thank you for watching and lurking, and feel free to, you know how this works. We take suggestions. So if you want a splendid plot point, and you're joining us live on Twitch or on YouTube, there's no plot point system, but you can just make a suggestion. Then you can we can try to work that into the game as best we can. And if not, I do keep a little record, and I'll see if we can get it back. Same for different names. I'll be asking for NPCs to pop up. If you get an idea of what you want to have happen to these people, just no instant death. Although it is level 2, so instant death is imminent. Anyway, let's keep going around the horn and say hey to Carl. Carl.
How's it going, guys? Introducing Tillman, Dave Tillman. Dave Tillman is a Tortle cleric, a Twilight cleric. But he has some pent up, dormant anger, if you will. And we'll see if his barbarian side comes out.
Oh, good. I'm glad you said that, because it was on the title card, and I was like, oh no, I've spoiled the surprise. So absolutely, he's I just picture just this big friendly turtle, and then you cross him, there's this little twitch under his eye, and then
yeah, it's something I'm gonna work out with you, Todd, just to figure out what a trigger point would be for him based on the surroundings and the environment and the storyline.
It could be internal as well. I figure, imagine this scenario for a second. You're a turtle and you have an itch in your lower back. Would that not just be pure hell? Just, you could never get that itch? I don't know. Maybe that's
There's
just
that,
me.
or as he randomly consumes a mushroom that's on his shell, one of those mushrooms will trigger something. I don't know.
Oh, that kind of also works. And just remember, kids, if you safe space with sober friend. Anyway, nothing. So we're gonna dive in, and I'll set the tone with the world a little bit, and then we're gonna dive back in. We've already done session 1/2, if you want to check that out, with not these characters, but it is the same world. So let's dive in, and I will introduce you to a brand new homebrew, at least for now, campaign. And we are going to be taking a look at where this goes. Welcome to everybody for jumping in on session number 1. Let's do. All right. Oh, hold on. All right. Welcome to session 1. You have found your way. Oh, that's a Shadowrun note. Hold on. My notes are here somewhere. I swear to God. All right.
You're in the year 2090. What?
Wait a minute. Yeah. Psych! It's a Shadowrun all along. All right. So in the broad strokes, you are in a fantasy world. In this particular realm, or at least in this region of it, there's a series of various islands, the largest of which is almost continent-sized. And as you kind of move inland, the mountainous regions rise up relatively quickly from the coastal regions that kind of seem carved out from the sea. The delta's not too big. The mountains are only a couple days inland from the sea. The beautiful snow-capped mountains visible from the oceans, and also from the ocean cities that crop up. There are several cities and small dwellings dotted around the main coastal area, almost like a big bay. And then out at sea, you've got various islands and island kingdoms that might be making up some possible destinations should you find your way to a boat or off of one. This particular city is... I named it last camp, god damn it.
Kyle.
I forget the name. It started with a T. Let's call it Telsford. Tellsville. Don't tell internet. Internet. We need a name. It starts with Tell. You can find it if you want to. But anyway, so this particular city is it is a neutral city by the sea, governed by a small kind of council of different interests. There are, of course, various interests from the various coastal cities, but the most prominent factions are actually two different competing factions and varied neutral states in between. On one side, you have the power of the Mage Towers. These dotted through different cities and different regions, these massive towers, sometimes in cities, sometimes very secluded, run by these arcane masters who, in their various ranks and machinations, control large sections of this realm. Their influence spreading unofficially through various regions, always closely allied to the regions that they, to many different regions' leaderships, never directly in control, never directly implicated in many plots or scenarios that might arise. To counterbalance the Mage Towers is the Inquisitor. The Inquisitors are, again, a group of loose factions, all allied underneath the Inquisitor label. The unifying factor of them is their unified hatred and opposition to the Mage Towers. In between various neutral ground states and villages and towns, these are heavily influenced by the two main factions. Life is mostly peaceful at this time, but there was terrible war between the Mage Towers and the Inquisitor types. A third, lesser-known faction, mostly out at sea, are the Dragonborn Kingdom, which is it's basically I have the name somewhere. I'm sorry. The dragon run domains, scattered islands, also rumored up further into the interior of the mountain regions. The dragon folk. This consists of all manner of things. Now, other people are allowed in those regions sometimes, but those who rise to prominence there all seem to share a common goal, and that is the influence and possibly even worship of dragons themselves. They are often called the Spines. Found my note. Anyway, so in amongst all of this are various fantasy races of, dwarven, elven interest, fey gates popping in and out of the many unexplored forested regions of here. There's gnomish types, both the more tinkery kind of gnomes and the forest folk, halflings and so on. There's rumors of kingdoms lost and never once known of, maybe perhaps even just mythical, or perhaps just lost to time in various sections of the world. But for the average folk, you live and you laugh and you die in your own village. Very few people moving from city to city, unless you're one of these merchant types or the sailor types, or a brave adventurer type. You find yourselves as the latter. For whatever reason, you have taken it upon yourselves, either by choice or by being forced, into the realm of a wanderer. You may have taken up allegiance with other factions in the group, in the game. There, perhaps a thieves guild, perhaps part of one of these larger factions. But at this time, you find yourselves in the coastal city. It's a fairly large city with sections of the area having been older than others. Some sections completely ruined and abandoned. Others thriving ports. There's a richer section further inland with these various towers. Not quite a mage tower, but there is rumor of a large mage tower nearby. Their influence quite strong. But this particular city does have what they sometimes called the Guild Hall. The Guild, not a guild. That is the unofficial title of those who ally themselves with the Inquisitors. They are not shy in their presence. You've walked past this in town. So let's start with Gordon. Rook. The streets are no shock to you. Very little surprises you here. You've been here for some time now. The section where you were most familiar with is significantly less traveled. Ruins up near the point of the break wall. But for some time now, you've been, let's say, inhabiting the areas that would have you, being from a poorer stature. You quickly raise the suspicions of those in the richer districts. So you've been finding yourself down towards the docks, down towards the seedier side of things. You, tonight, find yourself outside of an inn. You've been here before. You actually know several people who come here somewhat often, but it is considered somewhat neutral turf. So, Rook, tonight, what is it that brings you out from your small hovel, or where you've been crashing anyway? Where do we find you, and why?
I think since what happened with the undertow, I am still trying to figure out what happened and with what connections I have with the Black Swallows, just trying to understand what was that thing that was taken and how can I get it back.
One of your
help my
contacts, a person by the name of, hold on, it's here, Hernisa. A person by the name of Hernisa, rumored to have once been friendly with some friends of yours, is said to be at this inn tonight. It's been rumored that she got out and made good, and might maybe have a better idea of what's going on beyond the alleyways and the small little thieves guild halls and nooks and crannies that they inhabit.
Okay, if she's my lead, then maybe I'll try to see if I can arrange a meet with her. I don't want to just drop in on her, but taking a look at any scrawlings on the wall with thieves' cant.
Oh,
any
do a
types of
perception check
messaging?
for me. First roll of the night.
Perception. Okay. Woo! I'm going to
Natural
with
1.
a knowledge of like just the past, like with some thoughts swirling in my head, just remembering some signs of that. You know, at first I'm kind of looking at things like this can't be right, or maybe this is right. And then I just kind of get glimpses of just more and more imagery, and I'm going to modify that.
Sure thing. using your background.
So it's not so terrible. 12.
All right, a 12. So as you run your hand over this small scratching done by a dart or a small blade, just to the right of the wide wooden door, there's a wooden placard of some kind of horse hanging above you, and the standard kind of welcoming sounds and smells. It's a mid-level inn in what would be kind of not at the edge of not great town. So as you run your finger down the door, you find the telltale mark, and you try to feel it, but it seems to have been rubbed pretty. It's been rubbed a lot over time, so the edges are really difficult to take in. So instead of just letting your fingers tell you as the more subtle way, you actually have to stop and like take a glance, and then get down low and get a really good look at this particular symbol. It's really difficult to make sense of, in part because it's so worn, but there's also this large scratch right through the middle of it. It was a symbol for it's a guild-friendly place. Thieves are welcome here, but it's been scratched out, and that's what you get.
Yeah.
All right.
Knowing that, that it's kind of a bit weird and odd, I'm not going to put any countersign.
Mm-hmm.
So, like what I initially thought I would do. So instead, I'm just going to enter the inn as if I'm a patron.
Sure. Well, you kind of pull up your cloak around you. It's slightly less tattered than some of what you're wearing, and you duck inside, and it's a relatively boisterous night. There's some music playing and some laughter, some drinks being had, but it's not totally full or anything. I'd probably say there's about 6 tables with people at them, out of maybe 12 scattered throughout this main common room. Towards the back is a bar and a swinging kitchen door, which is actually propped open at the back. You can see kind of a couple of booths on each side, and then a scattering of round or rectangular tables. It almost nothing in this whole place matches. It looks like it's been cobbled together with pieces over time, and very little in it looks new. Above you, pretty high ceiling, probably a good 15 feet up, maybe a bit more, where you get to rafters that go another 5 or 10. And in a crisscross pattern, there's a bit of dust and kind of a smell of old ale and old fires and maybe a little tinge of vomit here and there. You see these chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. Unlike many places in this region, magic is fairly common in this realm, and so a lot of the more upper class areas would have glowing crystals or perhaps an enchanted flame that would burn forever. Above you, you see lots of tallow wax candles on these roundish chandeliers that are able to be lowered and relit as necessary. It is not a place of money, but it's homey and comfortable. You find yourself a spot. Well, do you want to head to the bar? Do you want to head to a booth?
Actually, I am going to head to the bar nonchalantly.
Okay.
So I'm not going to try to I'm not going to try to gaze around at the crowd to begin with. I want to just post up at the bar nonchalantly, get a drink.
Sure.
And then nurse the drink. And while I'm doing that, slowly get a lay of the room.
Absolutely. So you post up. A half-elf woman comes up, graying red and silver streaks in her hair, comes up, offers to get you a drink, and pours you something from the cheaper end of things, and gives you a mug. It's unmatching with any of the other mugs, but it doesn't look like any of them match. But other than that, it's a decent drink for what it is.
How much is it?
That's going to run you She's like,
All right. Yeah, that'll run you.
she takes a second to look at you, and she's like,
You can have 2 for a silver.
Fun. And I just
All right.
kind of like hand over a silver.
Do you want both now, or one for later?
One now, one later.
For sure.
she gives you the drink and heads on her way. And yes, I know, Darcy, you're listening to the voice changer. You're like, no. Anyway, I'm not gonna. All right, so you post up and start getting the lay of the land. Okay, coming up next, Dave.
What up?
Dave, what brings you to this port city?
Man, I'm just a simple wanderer. I'm going from town to town, exploring the sights, meeting new people, man.
So your wanderings have brought you across all different kinds of various exciting sights, and now you find yourself in one of the fabled neutral cities that had been quite badly damaged during the wars, but now has been rebuilt and is an exciting center. Not being directly under the influence of any of the factions has made this a bit of a cobbled together city. It's got an energy of a place that is at once old and new. It's got deep roots and ruins even within the city itself that are beautiful, half-toppled statues and old, crumbling temples, brand new temples risen or restored to former prominence. There's so much to see here, from all the tall peaks of the mountainous regions. There's kind of 2 cliff faces rising up on either side, and this kind of crescent-shaped harbor is settled in between. As you explore backwards, there's more beautiful gardens and terraced, rich areas that, frankly, and no offense, but your general appearance, and also Tortles being fairly rare in this region, often mistaken for Dragonborn, which are somewhat suspect given the various machinations of the spines. You sometimes get mistaken for those, but other times greeted with curiosity. In this particular region, down near the docks, yeah, very bloody. Yeah, no offense to Tortles or to Dragonborn, but it is kind of, at a glance, you have to see the shell. Thanks for jumping in. So you find yourself down by the docks in what is most notably an exciting hovel. Like, it's a hole in the wall, but that has a certain draw and energy. You can hear all this various music from some musicians and bards or wannabe bards. You can hear the laughter. You can hear the sounds of fighting down towards the end, some breaking bottles. And you come wandering down the street, and you see a humble-looking tavern that you've never really seen before. You quickly... what languages do you speak?
I speak Aquan, Common, and Gnomish.
Nice. All right, so this actually does have some Gnomish on the title card, which is what grabbed your attention. There are gnomes in town, especially the more steampunky kind of... there's quite a lot of large blending of arcane and science. And you look up and you actually see part of this sign is in Gnomish, and it's the common part says the Wild Buck, but the full name is it says the Harbingers Hollow the Wild Buck.
Well, man, this looks like a great place amongst all the tall buildings.
There's this one stands out in that it's separate. There are connected row houses throughout most of this section with little alleys ducking off and in, honeycombing around. Most of the buildings here are at least 4 stories. This one is a humble 3-story freestanding inn.
Okay. Well, I am a little thirsty.
All right. Well, this seems like the right place. You kind of duck inside, and you see the aforementioned several tables, humble but not mixed matched, but it's got a homey feel to it. You kind of quickly glance around the room. Can I get you to do a perception check for me?
Oh, cool.
And yes, folks, I'm having them meet in a tavern. It's what I do. Actually, I had another one, but we'll get to that later.
Hold on. Really? That's all I got?
And
Hey,
that
it's
is...
it's one above Gordon.
It's a 2 plus 4 for a total of 6. So you take in the place, and you're just like, huh. And there's some candle wax comes dripping down on your shell, and you're like, The innkeeper at the far end, kind of a half-elf woman with reddish hair, kind of smiles up at you, and you take a read on the room, and yeah, there's no... I mean, it's almost all humans in here, a couple dwarves, a half-elf. It's a pretty unmixed crowd right now, but they all seem relatively happy to see someone walk in. So what do you want to do?
Well, I got my haversack hanging from my halberd like a true vagrant. But looking for something, booth-like that could accommodate the shell, obviously.
Oh, of course. So booth? So you go scooting over there and kind of look around, hands steepled on the table, waiting for service. And after a few minutes, the half-elf woman comes over and greets you.
Hi, I'm Tin. Welcome to the Wild Buck. What can I get you?
This is the eternal question. I would like a nail, please.
You got it. Any preference, or should I just pour whatever's closest?
Bartender surprise. I like to live dangerously.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, not too dangerous, but you're welcome here at the Buck.
So she goes off and grabs you a pretty big stein and comes back, and it's gonna run you a silver for the drinks.
All right, hand over silver and give her a silver as a tip.
Oh, much appreciated. Thank you.
No.
You need anything, you let me know.
I will.
All right, so she heads back, and it's a pretty busy place, and it seems like she's alone out here. Although there's probably you can hear some clanging in the back. There's probably somebody in the kitchen working away back there. Nothing really standing out until you see somebody come on in. It is a good night for you. So, Gex, I want you to do a sleight of hand check for me, please.
Sleight of hand check. Let me click the button. How's a 23 do? Is that good?
That's real good. All right, so you've got a coin purse in your hand that was on a noble that just walked by. You kind of just pretended to be carrying a box and just grabbed it as they just got a little too close. You kind of bumped into them a little bit. You make it most of the way down the street before the urge to count it kind of takes over, and you just quickly kind of pop it open and look inside. It looks like it's pretty full of silver, actually. It's gonna be that's probably about maybe 70, 80 silver pieces, maybe even some gold mixed in. A pretty good haul, pretty fat purse actually. And you're like, it's actually got some heft to it, and that is probably what gives it away. Because you look back and you see the person suddenly, they're pretty far down at the end of the street, and it's a kind of a richer looking man in kind of purpley velvets with like one of these kind of belts around the middle that kind of makes his tunic balloon out and makes him actually look even fatter than he is. And all of a sudden he goes to hike up his belt and then he realizes it's really light and he starts looking around. What do you do?
I will very quickly reach into the bag, grab as much of the silver as I can and pocket it,
All right.
and then just drop the bag in the mud and go that way.
Nice. So you quickly transfer it, stuff it into one of your own pouches, and take a right, and you walk almost face first into a troop of guards. There's like 4 guards, all in the city's kind of tabards over top of chainmail. They're conish helmets with the nose guard. 2 of them carrying spears, 2 of them carrying short swords, and slung crossbows. As you come around the corner, still carrying this small empty box or I'm assuming empty. Actually, no, it's got something in it. Internet, what's in the box? What's in the box? So you, in your quick turn, almost nose to nose with the front 2.
Just kind of like try to, gentlemen, step around him.
Oh. Out of the way.
Yep, by all means.
So they kind of walk about 15 more feet and kind of pause at that corner where you turned, and you can hear a slight, hey, go! Coming from
Just
around the corner.
So I'll look for some more alleyway, some more turns to take to...
Sure. So you kind of look around and usually this city has a lot of little honeycomb places between, but you just happen by fluke to be kind of away from that. You're not near the standard row houses at this particular section, but there is a small 3-story tavern by the look of it, not like just off to your right.
I'll try and come in from... Yeah, I'll kind of circle around it and see if I can come in not the main entrance.
Sure.
Even if I have to go through the kitchen.
Absolutely. So the main entrance is just ahead and to your right, but you kind of cut a hard right and around towards the back, kind of carrying your box like you're supposed to be carrying it. And there's a little alley sandwiched in between a couple of trees and a small alleyway, and then the beginning of the row houses. And you kind of go walking there for a little while, and there's a small fence, and on most people it would be a medium-sized fence, but it's nipple height for you. And you're just carrying, so you can see over very clearly, and you can see the back of this inn after a little while. There's a small courtyard, small stables at the back, and a well, and you see somebody in kind of a white apron-y kind of thing, a little bit stained, just kind of standing there smoking a pipe just off the back stoop of this little inn. The alleyway looks like it kind of brushes up against kind of the back of another building at this point, so you can't keep going straight. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll go towards the guy, the obvious kitchen hand having a cigarette and smoking a pipe, I'm assuming.
Yeah, smoking a pipe.
And I'll offer him a small coin. It's like, hey, you got any of that to spare?
He's an older human, kind of balding, and he's a little bit worse for wear and seems more skittish than your average human that you've run into. So as soon as you kind of clear your throat, he looks up and he looks where he expects to meet your eye, but it's pretty much your midsection. And then he just keeps tracking up, over above the fence line, up to meet your gaze, and he's just, ugh. Yes. Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
My, you're a big one.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that.
I don't have another pipe. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Maybe just let me
I've got some
sneak on
tobacco.
and grab a table. That's fine.
Oh.
You hang on to that.
Oh,
If you wouldn't mind, I'll just kind of
Alright.
shimmy
kind
on
of-
by you there.
yeah,
Sorry,
he
mind
goes
if I-
and opens the little gate, and the fence opens up, and you kind of duck through. At which point you glance back down the alley you came, as you see 4 guards and this one guy with the tunic, kind of pointing downwards and like patting and shaking his coin purse, and they seem to be ignoring him, or like, yes sir, you found it. He's like, no, but it's not full. And you just catch that, and you're just like, whoop, back into the kitchen. And the older man's like, just most people come in through the front, but it's fine. Jen won't mind. What is that? He points at the box.
Oh, this is it's for keeping chickens.
He kind of, okay.
It's when a chicken, you're about to slaughter it, and it kind of gets agitated and confused and starts making a bunch of noise. This is my flustercluck box.
Ah, a chicken farmer. Well, come on in. Watch your head. And he leads you through this kitchen. It's a pretty big kitchen, bigger than would normally be one cook. And there's another prep cook in there, probably a boy, is like maybe 14, working away, stirring a pot and chopping some stuff back there. And the cook leads you through. And as he walks in, this half-elven woman is kind of walking into the kitchen, and they almost meet. And then she looks past him and sees you, and she's like,
I didn't know we had a delivery.
Oh no, this is my
Okay.
chicken box.
All right. The main room's back there.
Thank you. What do you got on the menu tonight?
the cook's like, we've got an excellent soup, a good stew. It's the same as the stew, but and the kid calls back, it's the same as the stew, we just strain it. And then and he's like, we're still waiting on a few more things, but those are the main 2. You want some?
Yeah, I'll have a bowl of that stew, and whatever your best ale is.
And the half-elf woman kind of looks at you, kind of trying to judge if you're trouble or not. Can you go ahead and do either a persuasion check or a deception check, depending on if you think you're going to be up to trouble?
I'll try.
You don't even have to tell me. Just roll
Okay.
one of the 2.
Yeah, an eight on deception. I'm not really trying to be deceptive. I'm just trying to be like,
Maybe you're trying to pass yourself off as not up to trouble
yeah.
with a pocket full of stolen silver.
It's mine now. It's
It's not
possession.
stolen.
It's
Mine.
It's the law. It's mine.
Yeah. I'm gonna need you to pay up front.
Oh, sure. How much?
It's a silver for the meal and the drink.
Kind of like reach up my sleeve and flicker a silver.
Okay, so you flick it to her, and she catches it like it looks like she's gonna miss, and then she's like, she's got some reflexes on her, and she kind of looks at it, and she's like,
Well then, make yourself at home. If you need anything else, just let me know.
Oh, chunk of bread if you got any.
Of course.
and the cook kind of waves you down towards the table, and then he heads back to finish his pipe. All right, so you guys are you see each other in the room. And whether, actually, Rook, you've been sussing stuff out and keeping a very low profile. The first thing that you notice is a very tall being walk through the wrong door. The second thing you notice is that it is indeed a Goliath. And the third thing you notice is that you know him. This is Gex. You have some friends in common in the less than savory guilds.
Yes, guild.
You would both know each other, at least by name, even if you don't know each other that well.
I see him, and is he coming my way or is he moving away?
Well, he comes in just at the end of the bar on the far end, where you're perched up.
Kitchen.
Yeah, from the kitchen. And then he goes and finds a booth off to the side. And kind of shoves the table to the far side of the booth so he can fit on this side. And puts a box on the table and kind of takes his ale after a few minutes and just starts looking around. He hasn't spotted you yet.
Okay. I keep a bit of an eye on him. I wait for him to catch, to spot me before, and as soon as I notice if he sees me, then I'll kind of make eye contact with him. But otherwise, I'm looking for Harnissa to see if she's in the room.
Sure thing. So you haven't yet seen Harnessa. You know she's a tabaxi, so she'll stand out probably.
Yeah.
But so far you haven't seen her. But you do catch eyes with Gex.
Okay. So then, as soon as we kind of as he's scanning, he sees me. I kind of just kind of make eye contact, and I try to just kind of have the look and a quick just sign on Thieves' Cant, just to say, is he here on business or just chilling?
You pick that up, no problem. What do you want to sign back? Sorry?
I'll sign back a bit of both.
Left alone or basically, does he want to be left alone or have company?
Oh yeah, you can join. Yeah, come on over. I'll
Okay.
wave you over.
So after
then,
a long series of baseball signs with, crotch grabs, nipple tweaks, and pulling with the hat, you
all nondescript. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all very subtle. It's like
very
nose
subtle.
picking.
I'll make my way over and I'll take a seat.
Absolutely. So you sit on the same side, actually, because the table had to be shoved pretty far out to make room for him. He's a very big being.
Sure. Sure.
If it wasn't a booth, it would be easy, but yeah, it's easy enough. So you both sit down and are chatting for a little bit. After a little while, a couple of things do happen as you're kind of catching up. You both, quick back bit of that is you both are members, or at least adjacent to one of the local thieves guilds. What was it called again, Gordon?
The Black Sparrows.
Right. So you're both at least on friendly terms with the Black Sparrows, which operate out of this part of the city and actually have some hidey holes in the less savory and also some of the ruined areas of the city. So you guys are sitting and able to catch up a little bit if you want to.
So, fancy meeting you here, Gex.
Well, yeah, I could say the same, I suppose.
I'm looking for a member of the Sparrows. Just, well, you know what happened with the Undertow when everything went south there, and I've been moving around ever since then.
Gex, roll a history check for me.
Me too.
22. Damn.
Me too.
All right, you
Damn.
definitely know what happened at the
Well, yeah, because he does. I don't.
So you nod in acknowledgement and keep on.
Yeah.
Now, just a point of clarification, Harnisa used to run with, she used to run with someone who used to run with the Black Sparrow. That person is now dead, but she was on friendly terms with the Black Sparrow.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find any of them that are left. Just because, I'd done some runs with them. And frankly, I think that some of the things that they were looking for might have had something to do with what happened.
Hmm. What makes you say that?
Well, I ran with them a little bit, did some jobs, did more stuff underneath the city, looking for things, and just with some of the friends I made, they're looking for some things, and I'm wondering if that there's a connection there.
What kind of things are they looking for?
Old relics. Like there's ruins underneath the city, right? You remember? There's a bunch of treasure hunters go down there. Not many necessarily come back. But
It
you know
is
me.
some of the more dangerous work.
I'm pretty nimble. Pretty swift.
Yeah, that is true.
I generally have a good eye, so I took a couple of those jobs because the pay's better. And, started to realize, when they're trying to sift through the ruins of an old civilization, some things that they dig up maybe had something to do with it.
Now, with 22, some of the details of what happened you've heard rumors of, but you don't have any of the specifics. But you know that a whole bunch of people died, or disappeared, or just
Right.
it was a weird thing. Now, it was a little before you kind of got settled in, and you weren't in that area when it went down. But it was in an abandoned section, or now abandoned section of the city. With a 22, though, what you do get is Harnisa. You are familiar with her. For whatever reason, she is a tabaxi firecracker of a thief. She has a reputation of being some of the fastest and most, both with her claws and her paws and her tongue. She is she's a bit of a force to be reckoned with. And you met her before. You would know her. And also you've kept a little bit of tabs. It's like almost like somebody you went to high school with and you're like, yeah, I know what they're up to still. Vaguely. And so you know that she's actually taken up mercenary work with a group called hold on. Harbingers of Boone. The Harbingers of Boone.
Branches of big.
They are, they've got at least they have a rep, whether or not she's part of it or not. But they have a reputation of being really rough. Like, really brutal. And they've definitely put down any kind of competition before. And they're pretty damn cocky. They have a leader named Garrick. Some half-orc guy. He came from originally from one of the islands, but he's really been making a name for himself inland. But now he's in this town, and they kind of come and go from this area. So that's what you get for 22. Even though some of the details of that weird bunch of people and just a whole section of town just getting messed up, that's really all you know about that. So right about now, you guys have been chatting for a while, and then all of a sudden, a couple of things happen. Number one, Tien comes over with your stew, which is probably what gets most of your attention, and a big, basically half loaf of bread, and clunks it down on the table, and smiles up and says,
Oh, look at that. Making friends?
Always, dear.
Of course. Well,
Take a
let me
bite.
know if you want anything. Do you want a meal there? You?
she turns and says to Rook,
You
I just
hungry?
kind of smile. I just kind of smile at her and like, I'll just have my second beer here, hon. Thanks.
She,
It's on me.
she kind
Already
of
paid.
flinches back, and she says,
Sure thing, hon.
she did not really appreciate being called hun, is what you pick up on as she walks away. She's probably in her 40s-ish. Even for a half-elf, she's kind of midlife.
So you're saying
Right.
I'm too old for her.
How old is your
It's
Goliath?
probably odd because I'm like basically 21.
Yeah.
I'm 62.
You're a 62-year-old Goliath. That's amazing. I was
Yeah.
picturing much younger, but now
No,
Yeah,
he's
that's-
very experienced.
I
I'm
love
just
it.
gonna look over at Gex and sign. I'm not gonna drink what she brings back.
At this point, the door almost gets kicked open. It's that like boom, in they come kind of thing. And as you're both sitting there, like the whole room just does the whole turn and look thing, and you see this really, like, you expect to see this big freaking dude who just kicked the door, and you look up and there's this little halfling standing in the doorway who just looks like he's wearing these tattered gray robes and a pack with a bunch of adventuring gear, and he's kind of walking with this staff into the room, and he just takes to the room with this grimace and this big, like, snarly face, and he just takes it all. And he looks a little like the old man from Up. Except imagine that man with like runaway syphilis and some kind of grayscale. Because like half of this guy is like modeled and like not rotten, but like, ooh, you don't want to catch what he's got. He just looks off, like just off. And he comes walking in, and like thunk, thunk, thunk into the tavern. And he gets a few feet in, and then a little behind him, this dog, this ratty old, almost wolf-sized, like black, all torn up and scraggly and scarred, comes padding along behind, and like slips between the guy and his quarterstaff, almost knocking the little halfling off his feet. The dog is bigger than the halfling, and it goes walking on in and like walks right up to the bar, does a circle, and plunks its butt down next to the bar. Do an insight check for me, somebody.
A what check, sorry?
Insight.
Oh,
Like, out of the two or anybody?
Might as well go. Yeah, you're in the room. You see this
I'll
too,
do
there,
it.
Dave.
yeah, Dex very suddenly apparently stopped paying attention because I got a 2.
13.
This is good. This is good stew.
2. Fresh bread.
Yeah, it's not
Rare.
bad. Cook knows his way. All right.
15.
Carl got the 15, and Gordon got 13. So you got over 12, so you picked this up pretty quickly. Your eyes, between tracking the halfling and the big dog, you take a half second, the two of you, to clock Tien to see what she does, and you can see her kind of sigh a little bit and almost like curse under her breath.
Sana.
And you, if you speak Elvish, you pick up that she swore in Elvish, just quietly under her
do.
breath. Oh, nice,
I do.
nice. So she turns around with a smile and says, "Hold on. Do you guys want to do anything while you're there?"
I'm gonna watch as I'm also keeping an eye out for Anissa, but I'm not gonna make waves.
Fair enough. All right. So Tien turns and with a smile, and kind of the rest of the room sound kind of comes back after a little bit. They're not silenced anymore, and Tien kind of calls out towards the halfling and says,
Ah, well, Turg. Figured you'd show up again sometime. What can I get you?
and the halfling responds, well, whatever. And a bowl. As the dog like kind of grabs its the edge of its robes and tugs a little, and then he kind of scrambles up onto one of the stools by the bar. A few seconds later, the door, which was left open, somebody starts to get up to go get it, one of the patrons, and then it gets pushed open again, and in walks this really big half-orc, really large, wearing like chainmail. You notice with him right away, he looks like he's been at this a while. Scars, tough-looking half-orc, big old mutton chops, and kind of more human-style hair, but the kind of grayish-green skin and the tusks of the half-orc. And he comes walking in. He is equipped for travel. He's got nice chainmail, a shield on his back, big battle axe slung on a hook kind of on his shoulder, and a pack that he kind of walks in and tosses towards a booth, a full booth on the opposite side of where you guys are. There's like 6 humans just kind of hanging out there. Throws the pack on the table and mutters, "Get out." And they kind of look for a second and kind of look back at Tien, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
and so the humans kind of stand up and shuffle off to a new table. And then the half-orc kind of plunks his butt back down and nods to Turg, the halfling, and says, Give me my usual. And then he sits back like he owns the goddamn place. Just takes it all in. And he's actually at a little table, about maybe 10 feet away from Dave Tillman, and looks right at him, just kind of, and suddenly kind of notices the Tortle, clocks that you're a Tortle, which is still somewhat rare in these parts, and goes, huh. What the hell are you looking at?
Hey man, why the attitude? Just having a drink.
Well, having a drink sounds good. We'll take another one, Tien. And so she goes and grabs another drink, two of them, and starts walking over, plunks one down in front of the half-orc, and kind of goes to put the other one in. He motions to your table, and she clunks it down on the table next to Dave. Dave, do an insight check.
All right. Inside. 15.
15. You can see her kind of like tentatively putting it down with almost like an unspoken warning. And then she turns and starts walking back out of the way, back towards the front. She calls back over her shoulder.
All right, Garrett. I'll get you a meal. No trouble, no trouble. Are you staying?
He calls her. It depends if I like the company. He kind of takes his big old chug off of his drink. So, Dave, do you drink it?
I appreciate it, friend. I'm still nursing my drink right now. Tell you what. We'll see how the night goes. Thanks for the offer.
He kind of
I
just...
don't drink.
Okay. He's he's most of the way through his cup in about 2 sips, and he looks back over and just totally ignores everything you just said, and then turns over to Turg and is like, "So what's the sound of the wind, Turg?" And the little halfling calls back, Say. And Garrick just kind of chugs his drink and looks around and just essentially pretends that he owns the place. Anything anybody want to do?
I kind of signed to Gex, like, Garrick? That Garrick?
It is.
I think he mentioned, mentioned that he's the leader of this outfit, Harbingers of Boone.
That's the one.
And I just kind of said, okay.
I'll just actually look at him for real now and see if I do recognize him.
Oh yeah, you finally notice all of this. You just, and when Rook gets your attention, you now finally notice all this going down.
Oh yeah, Garrick. Yeah, that's him. Looks like him. That's him. He's their leader, right?
Yeah.
So that's who Harnisa's been running with recently.
Yeah, you look around, having just noticed that some new people are in, and you don't see her around right now.
Yeah. But that doesn't surprise me. She's not the kind of person to enjoy being seen in public, if I understand correctly.
She can work the charm as well as she can work a blade. But she doesn't appear to be here right now.
Yeah, I guess she just more picks and chooses when she wants to be in groups. Yeah, well, what are you thinking? You want to approach?
I want to sit back and see what I'm getting into first. He seems kind of spicy.
Yeah, I'm in no rush. A little bit of patient observation might be wise.
All right. Can I get you both to do...
sip my drink and just see how things go before I make any intro?
Absolutely. Insight or perception? Both of you. Or all of you.
All the same.
5.
21.
24.
Damn, that's a crit.
Damn.
Good job, Garo. All right, so 21, 24, you both pick up. Again, Gex, you are just like, I'm going to have the second drink for Rook arrives, and you pound that back. So you're already just kind of a little feeling good. You got a payday. Your life is good. Meanwhile, Rook and especially Dave pick up on a couple of things. The first thing is that that little halfling is creepy as there's just something about how still he is. And then he'll move suddenly and you're like, oh god. So there's definitely something weird about that guy. And his relationship with that dog is probably very unhealthy. Like, he takes a drink and pours the entire drink into a bowl, puts it down, and the dog just starts drinking. And then, I don't know, there's something off about it. And then, Garrick is just kind of taken in the place. And you pick up these subtle things just over the next, like, half hour or so, of you drinking and trying to stay low. Maybe not even that long, like maybe even 15 minutes. Tien comes in, and it's not as overt as the classic, like, smack on the butt of the waitress, like that level, but you just get the impression that Garrick is just prodding and poking at anyone within reach. And he's kind of, he's just kind of calling people out, giving people nicknames, just kind of just taking up all the air in the whole room. You've seen this kind of grandstanding before. He's either spoiling for a fight or maybe trying to, I don't know, he with their 20, you can tell he's waiting for somebody, and just kind of getting a bit bored as time goes on.
Hey, big man, you didn't get any love when you were a kid, did ya?
So he's just been, like, just shoulder poking a guy who's near him, just like, give me that bread. And then Dave pipes up and is like, you didn't get any love. And he just goes still. You gonna... And then he turns and looks at you, Dave, is like, you're gonna give me some love, boy?
Hey, man, I love everybody. I'm just saying with your attitude right now. You don't need to go and bother innocent folk just to get a rise out of people. That's not kind, man.
Oh, no, me and him, we're all buddies. And he grabs the guy, puts him in a loose headlock, and just comes walking over, just dragging this poor looking like, yeah, we're buddies. This poor human, who's like almost half his size, kind of drags him over towards the table, kind of shoves him into a chair, and the guy kind of half falls. He's like, sit down. And he grabs another stool and sits backwards, facing directly towards Dave. So, we go way back. But you, I don't know.
Looks like to me, friend, that you just need to chill the fuck out.
He reaches over and grabs that drink that you didn't finish.
Mm-hmm. Go right for it, my friend.
I'm gonna get you to roll a persuasion check.
Oh, dear God.
Oh no.
So you rolled a 4.
Yep.
And your final result was a 1.
It's not a 4.
So Garrick's holding the drink like this, and he's just clunked it on the table. And he looks you up and down for a few seconds. You in the mood for soup? He turns to the human who's like, Sure. I fancy me some turtle soup. And he's laughing like this is the funniest joke ever told. And the human's like, it's funny. What do you do, Dave?
Dude, I think you need a nap. And I cast sleep.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your d4s.
Yeah, let's
What is that? 5d8s. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
let's do that. And no. 19.
All right, now it's going to take a little bit of careful positioning, but you're going to be able to get that side of the table. You can't just hit it on one person, though. It's a 20-foot sphere. So you're going to get, potentially, Garrick, you'll get this other human guy, and another table that's probably about 8 feet behind them with about 3 people sitting at it. And after that, there's it kind of diminishing
Hold
returns.
on a sec. Hold on. It says creatures within 20 feet that I choose within the range that are affected. So it's not
Really?
home.
I
Yep.
didn't know it was you choose. Wow. I've been doing sleep wrong. All right. Who would you like to put to sleep?
Hold on. Creatures within 20 feet of a point you choose. Okay.
Right.
Never mind.
right.
You are correct.
Okay. So he's within that radius for sure. And it goes, from the lowest hit points up. So, fortunately for you, these are just little, and oh my goodness, it's a bunch of NPCs. So you just hear thump, thump, thump as the three people at the far side of the table just down. Just basically 1 hit point each, no big deal. Boom, boom, boom. The human next to you is like, and just slouches in his chair. So you're down by 4 hit points. That leaves 15 left to be absorbed by Garrick. And he's holding the drink, and he's just like, and his breath is awful, and he yawns right, like, not even 3 feet from you, just glaring at you.
You a little tired there, big boy?
One other point of measure. This is a verbal, somatic, and material. So you've sprinkled, what is it? Rose petals, sand, a cricket. What do you do this with?
Fine sand.
Focus.
Fine sand. All right. Oh, you can do it with your focus as well. So that's totally fine. Whatever you use for a holy symbol, for example. Actually, you're Twilight, so it makes sense that he's feeling pretty sleepy. But there is a song, like a lullaby style song maybe to this. So want to give us a little sample as the verbal component?
A fucking -3 charisma.
I didn't say it sounded good. Oop, I'm on the thingy now. My camera's got all done messed up.
Mr. Sandman, give me a dream. Dun, 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 dun.
That's great.
That's it.
Awesome. All right, so it doesn't, sadly, it does not put him to sleep, but what is going on? I'm sorry, my camera's got all messed. But it doesn't put him to sleep, but it does make him yawn heavily, and he kind of he was laughing, and his laughter kind of falls off. And he then notices what's going on around him, and all the people behind him that have fallen asleep, and he's just like, "Did you just sing me a lullaby?"
Did you not like it?
I fucking hate lullabies. And he's gonna swing at your head. Go ahead and roll initiative.
I'm gonna give myself an advantage on initiative.
That's fair.
Or how? Hold on. That doesn't sound right though. I guess
We all be rolling initiative, or just them?
You might as well all roll initiative. Everybody rolls initiative.
Okay, so
We'll see where it goes, but it'll let us know whether we're gonna be all with basic order of things.
All right, good. Good thing I rolled a advantage because I got either a nat 1, which is 0, or
Woo.
17.
All right, that is better. All right, let me just grab this because I gotta grab your characters. Roll 20. That of course takes a few minutes to get ready. But yeah, what am I doing? Here we go. Nope, that's not the button. That's the button. All right, so we got 19. Oh no, sorry, we got 17. What else we got?
14.
I rolled a 14.
Oh, so 2 14s and a 17. Nice. All right, so let me just drag us to a place just in case we want a visual. No reason. No reason. And I'm not sure if it's visible to you yet. Is it?
Now it is.
I
Oh,
got
wait,
black
is it?
screen.
No, it is not.
There we go.
There
Now
we go.
visible to you?
Yep.
All right.
I got a spotlight that I can move around.
Oh, you can't see the rest of it?
No.
All right. Let me see if I can fix that. Do. All right. Dynamic lighting pause. Save. There we go.
There we go.
All right, Gordon, Gex, you are over in the booth down at this bottom side here. Tillman, don't move that. Don't move that. That's a map. Okay, there we go. Tillman, you were sitting at a little table right about here. And of
Okay.
course,
So how big's the half-orc?
I mean, he's medium-sized, technically. He's a big dude.
Well, I'm about 6 foot and 450 pounds, so...
Yeah, he's actually a little bigger than you. So I would consider him to be, he's probably about approaching 7 feet. So he's got a good foot on you, and it's mostly muscle. Like he's a beast. And I'm just gonna take that and just size it up some. So he was sitting across from you with his back to the others, right there. And so just imagine. Actually, let's set this at this table because there's a table. Why not use the table? So you're on opposite sides of the table. And let's say Gordon and Gex, you were at the other booth over here, just so you weren't in range of that spell. All right. So coming up first, it's actually, since he initiated, it will be, even no matter what he rolls, he's gonna go. Okay, 13. Okay. So coming up first, you get the idea that something's going on, but he does try to take a swing at you there, Tillman. So he's gonna take just a bare fist, like, hey, I don't like lullabies. And he just takes his swing. That's my watch, sorry. All right, let's dive in. So he takes his swing at you and does not do particularly well. I think that's going to be about a 15 to hit.
Nope.
All right, so he tries to clock you with the mug across, and you pull your head down and get out of the way. All right, coming up next. All right, coming up next would be you, actually. What do you want to do, Tillman?
I'm gonna get up. I'm grabbing my halberd.
Oh,
And I am gonna use the butt end of the halberd. And try and aim for his nuts.
all right.
Oh.
You don't like a bully. Look at that. All right. So make your roll.
Fuck sake.
Oof, that's a nat 1. There's no joy there. Sorry, pal. So you just take it, and he's just spoiling for a fight. He's been hoping for this. You come swinging, and he doesn't actually duck. He was sitting backwards on the chair, so he just grabs it and swings up and counter swings it and just parries the shaft of your halberd as it comes swinging towards his head. All right. Coming up next, that would be... that's actually him again. Which is... One second. I'm just still trying to learn your names. What's your... Rook. Okay. So Rook, you're on deck, but it is Garrick again. So he's
Okay.
like... soup's on the menu. And he's going to try to... actually, he's just going to try to tackle you. So you're going to... It's a grapple effect. And he's going to... actually, you know what? He's going to try to clock you again with the mug. and probably misses. 12 is going to miss you, right? So unfortunately, he doesn't get to do what he wanted as you kind of circling around the table as he's swinging wildly and kind of poking at you with the chair as well. All right, coming up next, Rook.
She's just gonna mutter under my breath. I'm just gonna say, Angel, what do I do? Just like it, and just for a moment, just wondering if he whispers back anything or any of the others.
It's not my fight, mate. See what happens.
So, and I think from what he said, whispered, like, not our fight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to hide. I'm going to get up, and I'm just going to basically, I kind of give a look to Gex. I'm like, a shrug, and I'm just going to, like, get up from the table so I'm not boxed in.
Yeah.
And so as I go out, I'm going to try to find a place where I'm not easily seen by anybody. Like, maybe I'm actually just going to go like, even underneath the stairs a bit.
Sure. Absolutely.
And just hide.
So these guys have been circling a little bit around each other. So by the time you make your turn, he's kind of got his back to you there. So you just kind of over the corner and just kind of stand in the corner in the
slink
shadowy
off
corner.
and hide. Yep.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll a stealth check, please.
Okie dokie. Ooh, 11.
Not great for you, but not too bad.
I'm going to just use my last image, knowing that, like, of just like slinking through. I get some images in my mind, maybe from Angel, just like slinking through as we've done a couple heists together, and I'm just gonna roll. Not great. Well, done.
If anything, you get this image of Angel kind of laughing. Old times, man. Old time.
Nick, you should have stuck to just singing. Just.
All right, coming up next. The dog just starts snarling, but also catches in his throat and goes and vomits all this ale on the next to the floor on the bar. Just kind of over here. I don't have them in there yet, but we'll put them in. All right, well, there we go. Creepy little gnome, or halfling, and I don't have a dog, so I'll just put this thing. All right, there we go. I'll shrink it down a little. There you go. Nope, wrong button. All right, so the dog just starts yakking right in the spot where you'd walk to go back to the kitchen, like right on the floor there, just vomiting wildly. All right, coming up next, Gex, do you want to do anything?
I think no. At this point, I'm just going to observe.
Absolutely. Just kind of put your feet up on the far side and just finish your stew. In all the hubbub, it's one of those classic scenes where, like, Garrix moves across and, like, bumps a few tables and a few people are like, whoa, and then it's general mayhem is breaking out. There are more people involved than what are on the map, just so you know. But these are the main people. All right. You can hear, just in the background, you can hear Tien being like,
Hey! We do not want any trouble here. Stop!
All right. And then we are down to the little creepy halfling. Kind of hops up in this, like, he's been sitting, and then just goes and just scuttles forward and rushing towards Tillman. Barely covers the distance, but just covers the distance, and sticks out his quarterstaff and tries to poke you with it. So he's going to try to melee hit you, and we'll see what happens from there, okay? Out of curiosity, what's your AC?
17.
All right, let's see. Does a... He's not great at it. Does a 14 hit you? No, it wouldn't.
Nope.
All right, so he does not make contact. And you can... He swings down at you, but trying to poke you. But as you're sidestepping, you can... he pokes the little human who was sitting next to you that then fell asleep. As you step out of the way, and the staff hits him in his shoulder, and there's a little pulse of grayish light, just boom. And you see this, the cloth where his shoulder was starts to dent inwards, and just very quickly, all of a sudden his clothing just starts to be hollowed out, and just hang super loose on that side of his body, and very quickly starts twitching, and then his skin becomes super tight and then gray and then cracks and bursts open, and inside, instead of blood, you see this grayish kind of ash just kind of pouring out and almost wafting into the air before it hits the ground. Some of it is enough to hit the ground and pool as this grayish ash amongst all the clothes, as this necrotic pulse just dissolves him, and you see this stretched, rot, like very desiccated skeleton just fall onto the table, and then off the table and onto the floor, as that poor commoner is dead. And Turg, the weird little halfling's like, feed one to the mother. All right, top of the order. Tillman, what do you want to do?
Dude, man, what the fuck's wrong with you? I just swing to the halfling.
All right, make your roll for the half-o.
The halfling, yeah.
Yeah, halfling. Oof. That's a 15. Normally, he probably would be harder to hit than this. However, he's not using his shield right now. So, it's still kind of leaning by the dog in the bar. So, it does make contact.
Alright, I'm not using the blunt end this time.
Nice. Damn. That is 10 hit points. 10 hit points down. Nice. All right.
You have 20 strength? Damn.
That is a serious cleric you got there. All right. The halfling just and goes flying with the force of the shot. Just yeet. Just and flies halfway back towards the bar and lands in a crumpled heap and sits up with this nasty gash in across his torso, and sits up. You can see some armor underneath, but he's definitely bleeding badly, but he's still alive. All right. And he snarls at you with this. Actually, he snarls, and then the dog snarls in almost like a counter, like, and they almost sound the same. And then next up is Garrick's turn. Okay, so he rushes at you and tries to, this time, straight up just hit you again, and maybe get a grapple on it as well. Okay, that's going to hit. That's a 19. So, 19 brings it to a total of 25. Does 25 hit your AC?
It
All right.
does.
All right. Now, he's still just using an improvised weapon of the mug. So, that's going to be 6 points of damage to you. As this mug just shatters across the side of your back of your, like right back here, because you were looking away, and just clocks you one. He immediately follows up with, hold on, gotta get my dice. Oh, it's nice to roll real dice. Steve's right about that. He immediately follows up with a grapple attempt. That's going to be... so you can roll athletics or acrobatics to try and get out of the way. Woo! Nice roll. Got a 20. So that is... Oh, your 20 beats his 17. So he just tries to get you in that headlock with the free hand, and you just pull your head down and out of the way again. So yeah, you're a slippery little turtle, man. Nice. All right, coming up next.
Strength, Carl. Good job.
Yeah.
Hey, man. It bounced off the fucking 5 charisma.
Yeah,
Yep.
fair.
All right. After Garrick, Rook.
I'm kind of looking at this like hiding and just listening to the voices to guide me, because like it's not necessarily really my fight, and if anything, I'm looking for someone, a member of this guy Garrick's crew.
Yep.
So I'm not really sure what to do at this point beyond
That's
just staying hidden.
Yeah, stay out of the bar fight, enjoy the show. So you're sitting there cross-armed, and you look up next to you, and right next to you is Angel. What does he look like?
He is a half-elf, suave, kind of like a ladies' man, really great performer, coolest kid in the block. And we grew up together in the orphanage. So like I tend to see and hear him, Kat, and sometimes Delilah and Rowan.
All right. So he's sitting there and he's laughing. It's like, that's like old times. Look at that. Look at that. He pulled his head in. Do you smell something?
And I just kind of like,
Do a perception check.
Okay. $21.
You smell smoke. And not like good smoke. It seems to be coming from the back room.
You mean the kitchen?
Yeah, the kitchen. And you can actually see a little bit of smoke just coming through the doorway just at the top there. Nobody else seems to have picked up on it. You're like, wait a second.
I'm gonna
Just
check it
now,
out. Like, I'm like,
you can then hear some just some voices raised in slight unhappiness, but not quite a shout, just kind of a reactionary yelp from the back.
I'm gonna make my way to the back then.
All right, so I'm gonna get you to do an acrobatics check, because otherwise you got to go right past the dog. Well, let me ask you: do you want to go up around the corner up that way, past the bar, through the little walkway into the kitchen, or do you want to scoot over the stairs, which are to your immediate right, and then hop the bar and then go behind the bar?
I am going to scoot over the stairs and hop the bar in a very acrobatic fashion.
Well, then I'm going to need you to roll some acrobatics.
All right, then. $20.
Nice. Just over the top. You could even grab a drink on the way past. There is a little bar.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a little cartwheel, grab a drink, little sip.
Yep.
Notice I don't really care for drinking, but I'm just doing it out of almost reflex, and I'm just gonna.
And you land behind the bar, kind of crouch down, and you look over, and Angel's right. He's sitting at the bar, looks over, and he's like, "Hey, man, give me that."
And I just kind of leave it there
You
for him,
pass
and I
it
just
back
continue.
out for him, and you just look over, and as you scoot towards the kitchen, you just look back, and he's trying to, you know. All right, you keep running, crouch run, and you go right past Tien, who is now ducked behind the bar, but I think she's distracted at this moment, hasn't heard you, so hasn't noticed you, and you see her just mutter, swearing away in Elvish. God damn it! If it's not one thing, it's another.
As I pass her, by the way, since I'm here, I yell back in Elvish, smoke.
What?
Like smoke in the kitchen.
What are you doing? What?
And then she looks as you go past her, and you get to the door.
I
And
say
kinda
hun in Elvish.
You get to the
Smoke
door
in the kitchen, hun.
You get to the door and spin, and you look in, and you see the back door where the cook had been hanging out. At this point, he's starting to come back towards you, and he kind of sees your silhouette in the door and kind of clocks that there's somebody there. And you see him carrying like a big rolling pin, and he's kind of walking out to help back up Tien out there. Doesn't seem to be paying much attention, and the smoke is kind of above his head. He's kind of short for a human, and so he doesn't seem to have noticed this at all. Meanwhile, you look to the right, and there's the little human, 14-year-old human, sitting there just... his back is now towards the stove, and there's no fire on the stove. But on the counter in the corner, kind of near where there's this window, you see... it looks like there was a pot or something with oil or something, or rags. It's hard to tell because it's all engulfed and flamed, and it's starting to spread. It's probably a good, like, foot-size flame right now, but it's spreading visibly quickly. It's catching on some of the curtains, spreading across the wooden counter and against the back wall, which is this is the wall that would be directly up against the bar side of things, on the opposite side of that. I don't have the kitchen part here, but you can get the idea. And
Okay.
the kitchen's opposite towards where the fire is in the far corner, and the human is hanging out in this closest corner. The little human boy who's like looking at the fire and being like,
there?
"Pardon?"
Is like where I'm pointing, is the fire there?
I don't think I saw where you pinged. No, the fire's further back. I feel like it would be towards. I guess it's a really big kitchen.
Okay, over there, way back there.
Yeah, and there's
Okay.
hallways and
Can I
an
bonus?
office and
I can
stuff.
bonus
so you
action
scoot it
dash
down.
towards it.
Yeah, you totally could. You're not.
Okay.
You're gonna run out of movement in a few seconds as you start dashing towards it, around the surprised cook. All right, coming
Yeah,
back.
so I'll just bonus action dash as close as I can.
Oh, with that, you can actually get real close, like pretty much right up to it. Just like start looking around, take it all in, but
Yeah.
you don't have time for an
Okay.
action. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, coming up next, the dog. It was snarling as you went into the kitchen, but it was fully paying attention to Tillman, and it goes running forward and tries to bite him. So it's gonna. That is a natural one. So it goes running forward and snaps at him, missing badly, and then turns and starts running back towards the little halfling.
Hold on. I'll
yeah.
get an opportunity attack.
You do get an opportunity attack. Go for it. Actually, that would hit the dog. So roll your damage. 6. Nice. All right. That is going to be enough. All right. So, as you see this dog running away, you hit it with your halberd. Do you want the blunt end or the sharp pointy end?
No, at this point, it's the sharp.
That's fair. All right, so let's say 4 of that overflowed. So, as you hit this dog, and the hips kind of swing out as it's running away as you hit the dog. And actually, Garrick's like, "You hit the dog." And as the dog kind of spins, it morphs and extends. And for a second, you're like, "Whoa, you hit that hard." And then you see like black fur give way to like a black cloak, as in its place there is no longer a dog. There is a dwarf, kind of scrambling on all fours towards the halfling, and it kind of slams onto his side and then goes and stands up, and and it doesn't get an action or anything, but it turns around and looks at you, and you see this beastly looking dwarf. Like, it makes all dwarves look very civilized comparatively, like nasty, long, super long beard and like unkempt. Hair is just wild. Clothes are a mishmash of different hides. And you're just looking at this almost as wide as he is tall. And he's just looking at you and just like, you ate the dog. And he's still got these nasty canines. The teeth.
What kind of fucked up place is this?
All right. Coming up next, Grex. Do you want to do anything? It's been an interesting battle, bar fight.
Yeah, kind of, but I'm still kind of deciding why I should get involved.
Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can watch whatever you want to watch, man.
I mean, I kind of want to connect with Garrick, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to interfere.
All right.
No, I'm just going to continue to watch.
Keep on drinking. Nice. All right. After a few...
wait, no. Hang on, I take that back. Is there anybody close to me?
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of humans, like, trying to scramble. A few of them are making their way towards the door.
I'll be like, three silvers on the turtle. What do you think?
And it's in this booth right next to you. You see this woman sitting there. She's got, like, really super tight, curly brown hair. She's a little bit shorter. Not a dwarf or anything, but, you know, on the way. And she's actually... Screw it. She's a dwarf. She looks up at you and is like, deal. Wait, for or against the turtle?
Oh, I'm betting 3 silvers he comes out on top.
Ha! All right, I'll take your money. All right. She leans over. She's like, name's Vanessa, by the way.
Oh, Vanessa. Yeah, my name's Ferguson.
All right. Coming up next, the halfling stands up, dusts himself off, and like you could see he's got this seeping wound, but he almost seems amused by that. And he looks over at the turtle and says, "You're gonna be fun to play with." And he is going to cast, let's go with Ray of Enfeeblement. So I need you to do a save. Let me just look up which kind. I think it's a actually I don't know what kind of, let me look that up. I've never done this before. Ray of Enfeeblement. What? No, go away, computer. Okay, Ray of Enfeeblement. Strength. Oh, it's a spell attack. Okay, cool. So I'll roll and see if he hits you. Does 14 hit your AC?
Nope.
Oh, so the ray just goes over and smacks against this little torch that's just in behind, a little lantern behind you, and the lantern just, it's still lit, but it's just flickering with a super dim, weak light. And so he missed, and Turk's like, all right, coming up next, Tillman, you're back at the top.
All right, I'm gonna.
Pesky humans indeed. Pesky humans.
Yes. Just see something. I'm just gonna hit Garrick. Yeah, Garrick there.
All right, make your roll. As you're just like, oh, I imagine with your thing.
Yep. There's no blunt, then no more. 25 to hit.
Oh, that'll hit. Make your damage roll, sir. Ooh.
Fuck's sakes.
All right, but you actually make contact, I think, for the first time, actually.
Yep.
So you just clobber him with the blade of your halberd, and he just kind of flinches. It kind of glances down his side, just a downward chop, and it glances off his shoulder and scratches along his side and digs pretty good into kind of his thigh as he's taking this kind of combat stance. And he's gonna just grin his teeth, his tusks, just like, ah. He starts to slobber a little bit, just like, this one's got some fight. He's still looking pretty healthy, hale and healthy. All right, he's gonna turn around. Metal it is, and he whips up this battle axe and just literally throws it into the air. And then your eyes track up, and he grabs the handle as it comes back down and uses the momentum to try to chop you. Oh, that's not going to be great. A 9 does not hit you as he's trying to be too fancy. And he just the way it is, as he did his move, he ended up kind of on this side of you, with you kind of just trying to hem you in with his allies. So he kind of scooted around you. And as he swings down, you sidestep. Sorry, go ahead.
Do I get an opportunity attack if he moved?
Well, he doesn't leave your melee range.
Okay.
He just kind of scoots around you to try and like set up a flank. But as you sidestep, he just chops into the table and just halves the table. The table is into 2 neat halves when he's done with it. All right. Coming up next, Rook. You've got a cloak. There is a big pot of stew. If you want it in the room, and a couple of scared-looking humans, because when you've drawn their attention to it, they're both like, and they're both just kind of standing there, agog. What do you want to do?
So, I'm in the room.
Yep.
What's on fire?
So in the kitchen, in the corner, near one of the windows, along one of the counters, it looks like a prep area. It looks like there was some kind of small cask or something, and it's been split open, and there's a blackish liquid that is burning a lot. That I'm a wordsmith. Yeah, it's burning a bunch, and it looks like some kind of oil, and it's starting to catch everything else in the area.
So it's not like something I could just like on a table kick out the window. If not, then
you could certainly try to scoop up. Like, the cask is the most on fire, and it's cracked and seeping more oil, and as it drips, it's like got that kind of, and it's still burning, a thickish kind of sticky oil. And then the counter itself is also on fire, but the main thing is the cask, and it is right at the base of this window that appears to be open, although the curtains are on fire.
Or I could just take the soup and try to use the soup to kind of...
Either one. Do you want to yeet it out the window or try the soup?
I'm gonna, like the issue with yeeting it out the window is it'll make whatever's outside catch fire, I think.
Yeah. You haven't been out back, so you're not sure what's back there.
Not sure what's out back there. So
if it's far enough from the
soup.
house, it might be better. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Hard to tell. So I'm going to use the soup to kind of like, as basically liquid to kind of put as much out as possible.
All right, I'm going to get you to do I'm going to say, I'll let you do either it's almost like an improvised weapon attack as you grab this soup and try to, so you'll be rolling an attack at disadvantage. Or you could roll an athletics check to just try to punk it on top.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an attack at disadvantage.
All right.
Okay. But do I get my proficiency bonus, or is it just a disadvantage?
Unfortunately, it's just your dex. No proficiency. You are not proficient in soup, sir.
But it's okay. So first roll.
Nice.
16.
All right, 16, not too bad. So you grab this pot and just start rushing it over and just stop short and let the momentum do the work as this sloshing stew soup thing goes onto the counter. And it does manage to put out the worst of the fire, but the oil from the cask is still burning, even though it's tamped down a little, it's still burning. So you've stopped it from spreading beyond, and in fact, you've put out everything
but I could put the
except
pot,
cask.
emptied pot, on top of it now, right?
Sure thing. Now another thing happens. As soon as you grab that really hot soup pot, you're going to be taking some fire damage on your hands. So you take 2 points of fire damage, just to the palms of your hands, just sizzling on this nice hot pot. What's your strength, by the way?
My strength is 13.
Okay, so you have enough. You don't have to check or anything. If it was super low, I'd make you roll, but 13's enough to just heave a pot. So yeah,
Can I just kind of drop the empty pot on top of it?
Sure,
And
you can just drop it on top and stand back. Yeah. All right, that's your turn. Nicely done. All right, it looks like the fire's under control. After seeing this, the old cook just kind of gets startled out of his frozen state and just turns and starts bellowing into the room. I'm not gonna yell this in my house because my neighbors would be very upset with me, but he starts yelling, fire, fire, and a few seconds later you hear a voice from down the hall in the other room.
What? The damn fire! 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 And she starts yelling.
She starts yelling to the rest of the room.
Stop that shit! I've got a fire!
Okay. And so that's your turn. Coming up next. All right. The dwarf starts stalking towards Tillman with this incredibly enthusiastic gleam in his eye. You can see why he was very canine-like. Even in his full return state, he is pretty feral looking. And his teeth slowly elongate even more. And his fingernails are like... And he's going to try to hit you there. There, Carl. Or Tillman.
All right.
Okay, hold on. That's without any mods. And let me just figure out what the mod is. That's going to be a 17.
I have a 17.
Okay, so he matches. So you are going to get hit by this effect. Let me just pull it up real quick, like Prime Savagery. So it does hit, and on a hit, you're going to take a certain amount of damage.
So if it meets
that's
the
gonna
AC, the attack wins?
Yep, meets beats.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Yep.
So that's going to be 8 points of slashing damage. And I think that's it, actually. Yeah. Yep. So you take 8 points of slashing damage as he just takes a chunk out of your shoulder. There, your shell is probably a bit too hard, but your shoulder he gets. How you doing?
I am down to 7 hit points.
Woof. All right. And he's like, all right. Coming up next, Gex. It looks like you're about to lose your bet, says Vanessa.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any way I can throw it. throw the fight.
I mean, there is a couple of stools and chairs that if you kick it, it might get behind a guy at a bad time. You could make it difficult terrain, basically.
Yeah, just trying to do that without this woman realizing I'm doing it.
So you hop up from your booth, which was over here, and turn around with a flourish and plunk your butt down next, like opposite her.
Yeah.
And as you walk by, you kick a chair hard. to make it.
kind of backwards. I'll do like a little pirouette, swing the leg, sit down and go. So, does this happen here often? Is this kind of like the local spot to, put a few coin down on a friendly brawl?
Most of the time, Tien keeps a clean house. She's out a few favors, but stuff happens at the Buck. Nobody's gonna stop that.
What do I got to roll to see?
I'm gonna
if I
get you
can
to do. I'm gonna get you to do either acrobatics or a ranged attack.
I feel like it's more acrobatics.
Sure.
Not that I really care, but yeah, it's just easier for me to roll acrobatics.
If it's high enough, it'll be more than if it's high enough, you get to make it difficult terrain. If it's even higher, it could be more complicating to these people's lives. What'd you do?
I got an 8.
Okay, so you managed to kick it, and instead the chair goes, "Rrrr," but it missed this section where you were trying to put it kind of behind where Garrick is likely to go, and instead it hits the edge of this kind of communal fireplace area and goes boonk into the edge of the fire, and kind of tips over, and the top of it is now resting in the fire. But you don't happen to notice that because your back is turned. And you plunk your butt down, and then you turn to see your handiwork. You're like, oh.
I successfully lit a stool on fire. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. It's just smoldering right now, but, it's in that spot. Okay.
Trying to work out how to make that an advantage.
Yeah,
Not
all
getting
right.
there yet.
Coming up next, the little halfling goes stalking forward, and he's going to... Let's see. Yeah, he's gonna just try to do another spell on you there. Can I get you to do a Constitution? Oh, sorry, ranged attack again. That's this guy's downfall. He's kind of awful. Let's see how he does. Ooh, rolled a 19. So the little halfling kind of hops up on a fallen person. One of the sleeping people just stands right on them. Gets a good line of sight on Tillman and goes, and some kind of weird, ghastly, nasty language. And you just feel this as this bile rises in the back of your throat. The good news is I don't think it does too much damage. Ooh. So that's going to be 6 points of damage. Are you
Down to 1 health.
Yep.
okay? And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Oof. Turtle Man, you are not well. That's a 9. Okay, you fail, so you are considered poisoned.
Ouch.
This is not going that well for our dear friend Dave. You're losing your bar fight. Mind you, it's 3-on-1. Okay. Bottom of the order. Couple things happen. Tien starts screaming. And again, I can't do this because I'm at home, but...
Fire! Fire! Would you jackasses cut it off? And anybody, give me a hand. God damn it! And I will give free drinks for the rest of the year to whoever the hell helps me put out this damn fire.
That seems to get him. I don't know if that piques your attention, but did you hear that? I couldn't tell if the...
Oh, I heard it.
Okay, cool. Everybody kind of pauses for a second. Another thing happens. The front door opens again, and in walks, high-heeled boots, leather outfit, long, kind of, dangling tail, and a little short cape, and this beautiful, just gorgeous woman walks in. And as you kind of trail upwards, as the camera pans up, you can see very soft, short fur with a little tuft around the neck, almost like a little mane, but just a little tuft, and then out into this beautiful cat-like head. It is a tabaxi woman, and she walks in with these golden slits of eyes. It's really, really like everything you would imagine of a woman crossed with a cat. And she walks in, and she smiles, and like half of the people that Tillman is fighting all stop, and some of them look at Tien, who's screaming over by the bar, and then they look back at the door when this tabaxi woman says, My, looks like I've been missing all the fun. And Garrick's like, about to finish up, love. No, I don't want your scraps. What did he do? And it's like Tillman's just like, He was breathing my air. Darling, what did we talk about? Don't shit where you eat. Is this where you eat? How is the food, anyway? She actually turns and says that to Vanessa and Gex.
It's staying down for the moment. Harnisa.
All right. And she goes kind of sauntering past and looks around as these three start circling around Tillman, just ready for that pouncing blow. But it doesn't seem to be coming. They all seem to be waiting. And Garrick kind of steps back, kind of disengaging. It is technically going to be Tillman's turn. Tillman, what do you want to do? There's a brief pause as she joins.
I'm popping my fucking shell as an action.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. The halberd, clang, 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 as you just bloop, bloop into your shell and turtle up on the ground. All right. And you can still kind of make out like where footfalls are, and Garrick is just looming over you. And he's still not sure, so he actually spends his action to disengage and step back, and then turns around and grabs Hernessa, this tabaxi woman, and just pulls her in, like half lifting her up. And she puts a clawed finger on his lip as he goes in for kind of a rough kiss. And then she rakes a claw down his lips, drawing blood. And she's like, not now. And he just grins and licks his lips and drops her back. And then looks over his shoulder at the other two who are now busy flanking the turtle shell. And they're kicking it, but not like, there's more like a prodding kick to see, is he dead? But they're not actively trying to like murderate you anymore. They're Tillman. All right.
Hello? There's still a fucking fire!
And then they kind of shake their heads and like, your business. And then, what's his damn name? There's too many names in this game. Garrick and Hernessa start walking towards the door. The other two do one more kick against the shell, not doing any damage. And then they start walking out as well. The smoke is just pouring out of the kitchen. Even though the fire's been extinguished mostly, it's still pretty bad back there. Gex, Tillman, what do you want to do?
I want to get her niece's attention.
Sure, you could just she's walking right past you. You could just grab her hand as she walks by.
Well, I'm not going to touch her. That would be rude.
Yeah.
I'd say, pardon me, Harnisa, I have something for you.
She stops, and Garrick continues a few more steps and scoops up a drink off the table and pours it into his mouth. She pauses and then slowly turns back and looks at you over her shoulder, and she kind of eyes you. I'm listening.
It's in this box. Let me just go back to the table I was at and grab the box.
She watches you walk by, just kind of. You pick up the box. The other.
And typing
the
what
other-
it is.
Oh, did you figure out what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All right, so you pull out this small statue. It's very small in your oversized hand, and it's wrapped in cloth. And you turn around and offer it to her, and she's just kind of takes this in, and for a few seconds it's all quiet, and the other 3 mercenaries make it to the door and pause and look back. They're like, "What's the hold up?" Garrick says, and Hernisa just looks at the cloth, holds out her hand. You put it in her hand.
Yeah.
She uses a claw to kind of unwrap it and looks at you.
Hoping I could get your attention enough to have a conversation.
You've got my attention.
Is there somewhere maybe less public we might have a chit chat?
She wraps it up again, puts it in a pocket or a satchel that she's carrying. Looks around at the smoke and the wrecked bar and like the dead dude and all the unconscious people and the turtle all tucked in. She's like, she makes a little motion in Thieves' Cant. You can read it immediately. And she's like, "Are you affiliated?"
Yeah, of course.
You can find us at the Swan. In fact, you might be staying elsewhere. I wouldn't recommend this shithole. It seems to be on fire. And she
Can't
turns.
imagine anyone who would.
She turns and starts walking away, and the 4 of them gonna gather up. The last one out is the dwarf, who just turns back and gives a and just looks towards the Tortle. And then you hear a whistle from outside, and he kind of flinches and then follows the rest. And the doors open, and this smoke is just going through. At this point, Rook comes back out of the kitchen, kind of cradling your hands. The fire is out, but Tien is still kind of standing there trying to gather up buckets, or she's calling to the rest of the room.
What fat lot of good any of you bastards What? It's
And I look at her in the eye.
Yeah.
And I say, and I say in Elvish, just like clear, like, I put it out.
She kind of pauses for a second.
well, at least someone around here has some brains.
Oh, I knew he could do it.
And then she switches to Elvish, and she's
Thank you.
Just smile. Just like, yeah.
You go walking out, pick up the bottle that Angel's been busy he's sitting at the bar where you
Drink it.
left him, and he's just looking longingly at this bottle, and you walk by and reach over his shoulder, grab it.
Yeah, and I just kind of like reach over the shoulder, grab it, take a swig. Don't really like.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna just lean over to the Vanessa woman and go, "So, which one of the 2 of them is still in the bar?"
That's a technicality. I mean, he's literally, I think he might even be dead.
I just keep staring at her, smiling.
Pay up, big man.
He's still here. It's called King of the Hill. Still on the hill.
He doesn't
Other
look
dude
very
is-
kingly right now.
You see a hand rise up from the shell. Bonus action to pop back up.
They seem to have gone. I'm getting flashbacks to bullies in high school. Me popping at him. All right.
I'll just kind of like wave her off and like go talk to.
All right, you see Rook kind of approaching the center there, back towards you, and you look over, and this Tortle is still alive, and Tien walks up to him and kind of nudges him.
Are you alive? You okay?
Oh. Man, what kind of people do you attract here?
All kinds, apparently. All kinds. You gonna cause any more trouble?
I wasn't the one causing trouble. He was roughing up the others.
Yeah. Yeah, he does that sometimes. He's an old family friend. Oh God! What happened to that guy?
And she points over to the dead human laying in the...
Your friends.
Tell him what up. Hey, you, big guy.
She calls over to Gex.
Can I help you?
Look, bodies are bad for business. I'll find out who his family was. We'll give him what we can. Will you return the body?
I'll drag it out back for you, but you know.
No. I'll pay you in food, lodging, ale, whatever you want. A small amount, but his body should go home.
Yeah, no, sorry, ain't doing that. Yeah, definitely
Suit
don't
yourself.
enjoy blood on the hands unless I put it there myself.
Suit yourself.
But I exactly will suit myself. Appreciate the stew though.
She turns back and calls the cook and starts talking with the cook about getting the body out of here and back quietly. You overhear her mention the word, like, we have to do this quietly. We have enough trouble.
Yeah. I'll just motion to Rook, like I'll sign to him, like, we gotta meet. We have a meeting.
And I signed back. Did she come when I left?
Yeah, I talked to her. We have an invite.
Cool.
Right about now, 3 guards walk in just as the cook is dragging the body back into the kitchen area, and the rest of the people, most people have cleared out. And you guys are just gathering up your stuff to get going. And Tillman, you're just kind of crawling your way back up to your old chair. And it's actually the 4 guards that you saw before their Gex come walking in. But this time they have a different person with them. Kind of a blue kind of tunic, nice overcoat, kind of buttons, brass buttons, looking kind of like a fancy guy. And he walks in and he calls out, and he's like, Tien, what is going on here? And you hear Tien mutter,
Oh God, it's not now.
as you guys are about to go. And now you can push past the guards if you want to and make your exit if you want there, Gex and Gordon. I shouldn't name that Gordon. Sorry. Rook.
Yeah, we can. I'm gonna try the whole stealthing past them.
They are
Um,
right in the entrance, though. So, like,
well,
yeah.
no,
And-
maybe not just
Come
slide
on,
into
Andre the
a booth.
Giant. Come on, you could do
I
it.
think we're gonna slide into a booth and just be
Yeah.
like nursing our
Yeah,
drinks.
we're,
Like,
we're
"Ooh."
doing the Han Solo Chewbacca cantina situation.
Yeah, sure.
Let the
You sit there with your
stormtroopers
back.
go by.
You just grab the nearest seat and pick up somebody else's ale and pretend like. And
Must have
Vanessa,
mine.
yeah. Actually, you duck into the same booth as this Vanessa dwarf lady who's also still there, and she's just kind of takes in. And she's like, hmm. And Tillman, what are you gonna do?
I'm looking around. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna drink my ale.
All right, so
Just
you're kind of wobbly on your feet, and at this point, Tien comes walking over to you, Tillman, and kind of steers you by the shoulders. And as she calls out, talking to the guards and this kind of more fancy looking fellow, and she's kind of steering Tillman, and she kind of glances around, sees the booth where the rest of you guys are, and kind of steers him towards. You're the only people other than staff in the room. And she's steering you away from the kitchen where the cook is. You just see the feet disappear around the corner of the body they just dragged. And she steers Tillman towards and gives you a shove into the booth. And Rook, you scoot over just in time to have this guy not land on you. And she plunks an ale down in front of you and almost shoves your head into the ale to be like, just drink. And then as she does this, she turns towards the fancy looking fellow. She's like,
Ah, what is it now, Cranston? You're always welcome here.
I'm bringing you news. Maybe good news for you or the patrons. Oh, doesn't look like you've got that many.
I'll look after me. I thought you might be here asking for another donation.
Not today. Well, I guess this is worth something. Do you have a board? And she nods towards like the far side of the wall, just by the door there. She nods towards that, and he turns around and holds up a long, opens a scroll, and it's a flyer of some kind of announcement. Who knows their letters here? Who reads?
I do.
Everybody?
I
Alright.
don't know if I know how to read.
What's your intelligence?
Intelligence 14.
Oh yeah, you can read any languages you know with that.
Hmm.
So you can get the idea of like cash. Most of the font is kind of too hard to read from this distance, but it says something or other, you can't quite make out, wanted. Then in big letters, the gauntlet. And then it says at the bottom, cash prize. And provost. And then the rest is kind of lost in the text from this distance. He walks over, takes out this very fancy looking pin, puts it on the board, turns around. And the guards are kind of like poking away. They've spread out around the room. A couple of them walk past the four of you. And like give you a look, because you're the only ones who haven't left. There's also 3 sleeping guys there. And a whole bunch of wrecked furniture and stuff. And they just kind of do a slow circle around, help themselves to another drink. And you can see, Rook, you can see Angel sitting at the bar, watching these guys just walk right past him. He just kind of looks nonchalant and, he kind of just gives you a look. And motions towards the board.
Look at the board.
And you can see where they've put this cash prize, the gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
And Cranston turns around and looks back at Tien.
That's it for tonight.
Sorry, wrong voice. That's it for tonight. You have yourself a fruitful business endeavor. You might want to clean up. I'll see you next week.
Of course. Thank you.
He takes a long look around the room, then turns on his heel and leaves. And shortly after that, the guards kind of leave with him.
I'm gonna actually, when they leave, get up and walk towards the board and read it. Like, what is
Sure.
this?
It looks like a flyer or poster for a competition. It says, Provost posts opening soon. Adventurers, mercenaries, able-bodied daredevils wanted. Cash prize, the king's appreciation, and possible provost opening. Inquire within Telborn Keep.
Melbourne Keep, huh? It's for basically for this gauntlet competition.
Yeah. And then there's a day, which is approximately like basically 3 days from now. It says there's a 1,000 gold pot.
Very tempting.
Vanessa leans over the table and looks over at Tillman and is like, Hey, Turtle Boy. You okay?
I've been better, but I'll be okay.
Damn. You can take a punch. And she looks over at Gex. And then back at the turtle. Would you say you won that fight?
Still standing, am I?
I'm just getting like the South Park. I didn't hear no bell. She's like, I'm surrounded by a bunch of stubborn assholes. I need my money. She turns to Gex.
I mean, you can't say he lost. He's still here. You want to call it a wash? I'll let you get away with that if that's the way you want to play. But I do not accept that this turtle person lost that fight. Look, that guy's dead.
I suppose. Well, never a dull night at... Pardon?
So what kind of gamblers are there in this town?
I just gotta know where to look. And she says that at exactly the same time as Angel. You just gotta know where to look. All right.
How's this gonna help me get you guys out? Is that just kind of muttered to myself when I think about that? I'm just like...
And you kind of mutter that, but he answers from across the bar. And he's kind of leaning back at the bar. And he's like, money opens doors, what can I say? Never a bad thing, and there's something about the smell of it. Something... I don't know. Kind of reminds me of the smell of home.
An itch.
Nah.
Fine. I'll see what I can do. And I'm just like, I kind of look at it like, all right. And I kind of walk back to Gex and the others. Kind of nod at the Tortle, like, tough fight, man, tough fight. And I look at Gex and say, like, you know, I just kind of sign, like, when do you want to meet him? Tomorrow?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, Arnisa mentioned that they'll be at where did they say they would be?
The swan.
The swan. And kind of indicated that if we needed a place to, if I needed a place to stay, that'd be it.
I got my own place.
Yeah, no worries. So, what's with the poster over there? Are you interested in taking on the old gauntlet? Or do you think there's some connection between that and what they've been getting into?
I don't know if there's a connection, but that's 1,000 gold.
It's kind of hard to pass up.
I was always pretty quick, but I'm even quicker now.
Yeah? Well, that's good. I ain't getting any faster.
I always like to sample the local traditions.
I'll turn over and just kind of like a little smile, like, oh, okay.
At this point, Tien comes walking over with a tray full of drinks, plunks them down on the table, picks up a stool, and then realizes it's burning, and then chucks it down with a yelp, and she's just like,
This is the worst night. I'm closing up. If you're going, go. If you need a room,
and she points to the stairs.
but I owe you this much at least.
And she looks at Rook with a nod. And
So I'm
there's a
staying
tray
here
full
tonight.
of drinks.
Guess I'm staying here tonight. Right? Because she said there's a room upstairs. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'll take
she's,
that.
Yep. There's rooms upstairs for all of you if you want.
Yeah, I'll take a room upstairs.
I may take you up on that, but I got somewhere I gotta go first.
She gives a nod. She drinks her drink down in one long, slow pull.
I gotta go clean up.
And she turns around and starts walking back and moving some chairs around. The night is yours. What do you want to do?
All right. I just kind of look at Gex and just kind of sign, like, just let me know when you want to meet him. I'll owe you one.
Or Harnisa. Yeah, I'm curious to see what she has to say, so the sooner the better, I think.
Oh, you want to go now?
Yeah, why wait?
Okay. We'll go now, and then I'll come back and crash.
It's just a conversation.
That's it. I kind of look at the total. I'm not looking for a fight. I just need some info.
And when you look back at the turtle, you can see Angel kind of sitting in between him, where you were sitting before you slipped out. And Angel's just kind of looking at him. And
Think of Cat.
he's reaching for a drink
also-
on the table and being like,
Can't get it.
can't get it.
I'm probably like thinking Cat is also probably just crouched nearby, just looking curiously at him because she's very inquisitive.
Yeah, yeah. Just in a
Okay.
few different tables around here. Like, there's this little pan around the room of all these empty chairs, broken tables, and all this stuff. And you just see this little flicker of, like, a small crowd, a handful of people here and there as you take it all in, and this lingering smoke in the air. And Vanessa finishes her drink at the table. She puts it down, and with a belch, yeah. Well, it's never a dull night at the old Buck. Good night, you crazy sons of bitches. And she
Just like,
gets
whoa, is she? I'm like, whoa.
and she gets up and starts walking upstairs.
I kind of look at the Tortle. I'm like, I don't like bullies either, but I got some business with that crew. I kind of like shrug at him.
You do what you have to do, man. If you need some help for the gauntlet later, just you know where to find me. I'll be crashing.
Oh, you're interested in that?
Like I said, man, I'm always interested in local traditions. The gold's a bonus.
All right. Well, I mean, let me. I'll find out what it is. And you seem like a tough guy. You took quite a few hits, so yeah, like maybe it's kind of in a somewhat non-committal way, but like, that could be interesting. And I guess I'm gonna take off with Gex.
All right. So you guys gather up your stuff, make your way out into the night, and there's leaving behind a bit of an odd scenario, and I think, even though we're wrapping a bit early, I think we're gonna pause there as you head out into the night. All right. All right. Thanks very much, guys. We're gonna stop session 1, episode 1 rather. I do either for you guys or for the internet, we do need a title for tonight's game. So I want you to brainstorm what you think tonight's title might be. Sorry, I usually do a break, but we kind of just powered on through. Sorry. Going forward, I'll plan a break, because, you know. But thanks, guys. That was fun. I haven't done this in a while. I wasn't sure where that was going to go.
You know, like, the player in me wants to help, but I'm like, the character is like...
No, hey, man.
That's the way it goes.
That's how it is, yeah.
I think the character's like, I need to talk to that crew. I need to talk to them.
I was this close to raging, though. This
Oh,
close.
yeah.
But,
I'm so happy.
yeah.
Gotta start with a bar brawl. And yep, that was interesting. The fire, that was weird. Anyway, we'll see where it all goes. All right, actually, I mean, we could take variable Eddie. Thanks for chiming in chat. He made the suggestion earlier of or the comment, pesky humans. I don't know if that applies as the title, but actually,
I would almost gonna say like drinking games or something like that.
Nice. Yeah. Although I think that was the last one.
Beers, brawls, and boxes.
Oh, nice. Even better. Beers, brawls, and boxes.
Beers, brawls, and boxes. What's in the box? What's in the box? Nice. All right. I think that's the winner. All right. Well, thanks very much, guys. We're hoping to make this, I hope, a weekly game if you guys are interested.
Yep.
And I will mix and match with some shadow runs occasionally too, but that might not be on a Wednesday. We might mess around with that. All right. Well, there's. I have no idea how it's gonna connect. Actually, I kind of do. How it's gonna connect to the session 1/2, but I'm excited. All right, Steve. It's been a long time. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you heard what I said earlier, but I think the city you were looking for was Tazfarel.
Tazfarel. That's what I wanted.
There you go.
Well, I was thinking Tardsylvania.
No.
Well, I had the ta part. Tazfarel. Yes, the name of the city is Tazfarel, and it's a port city in different pieces. At least this iteration of it. But like he said, there are ruins and old places to explore all throughout the city, and then further out in the wilderness too. So yeah, there's lots of places it can go from here. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Asking for a character is you gotta get a long rest.
I'm just asking for a friend.
I suppose it depends on what happens with Gex and Rook's next game. I think we'll put a pin in that, and we'll see. All right. So I think that's it for us. Stick around for the Creative Commons notes at the end for all the music credits that have been scrolling at the bottom of the doodly-doo. And we'll see everybody back here, hopefully same time, same channel next week. And thanks very much to Variable Eddie and Darcy for jumping in. And of course, to the players, Gordon, Steven, and Carl. It was a lot of fun.
Pleasure.
All right, thanks, guys. It was a brawl.